Hey everyone, Jason here with Phase Shift Games. And today, we're going to try something new. Something I've noodled on over the years is doing more content generation. Now, I'm a publisher, right? Phase Shift Games, ever since 2018. Prior to that, I was a designer since 2012. I had a design firm of 4 people. And we designed games. I had a couple games signed. The most notable was Dead Man's Doubloons with Thundergriff Games, and then that kind of persisted through to about 2019, 2020. And at that point, Phase Shift was really taken off, and so Phase Shift absorbed the previous aforementioned design firm, which was called Geek Fever Games. Kind of a cool brand, actually. I kind of miss that brand, but. Through and through all of this, I'm a gamer. I have been a gamer my entire life. I game every single week. I have a massive game collection. Stuff comes and goes. And I've always noodled on this idea, thought of this idea of, I watch tons of content creators, and I'm like, I don't have their charisma. I'm not a reviewer. And even if I was a reviewer, I'd be biased because I also am a publisher, so I never went down that road. But I've just been thinking more and more about it, and I think I have enough interesting stuff to say about the games that we play, about why we play them, how I tie that in with my publishing business, and why I make certain buying decisions or trades, or why things are leaving my collection. I think there's some interesting stuff there, and so I want to start. I don't know where this idea or this channel will go. I don't know if it'll be good. I don't know if it'll be interesting to you all, but we have a following, and I want to grow the following, and I thought, hey, maybe this would be something that would be of interest. So this is now the first of hopefully many, and we'll see where it goes. I'm going to try to do something weekly because I game weekly, and at the very least, I could give you some interesting insights into the games that we're playing each week. I've got a rotating game group. My wife is a key part of it, but with different friends and different places. A lot of times we're here at my house at our nice gaming table, but sometimes we travel around. And what are the games that are recurring? What are the new ones that we're playing? What did we think of them? I think there might be some interesting things there. So we're going to try that. Right now I'm noodling with the name of the gamer side. It's the gamer side of me, Jason, who runs Phase Shift Games. So this is the first of the gamer side. And what I wanted to talk about today was kind of the coming and going concept, because I do have a sizable collection. And as part of that, and every time I go to a convention, more and more games come into the collection. At the end of every con, there's with publishers, a lot of times what happens is there's end of day on Sunday trades. Like, it's just like, hey, what do you have left over? Well, let's trade your thing for my thing. And so I come home with a lot of new games, oftentimes not even ones I cared about or wanted, but it's just fun to see and try different things. So because of that, I often build up a shelf or multiple shelves of games that I'm ready to trade. Either I'm not interested, or we play them and it didn't match our group for whatever reason, or my own interests, or it was fitty. Fitty is something you're going to hear me talk about a lot, or et cetera, et cetera. Or we played and we're done with, right? So I'm pretty good at trading away or selling through our local game store. They have a tabletop garage sale twice a year. Can I get the time horizon right? Twice a year. And they also will randomly buy at different times of the year used games. I also recently discovered Noble Knight Games. You all may have been well aware of this, but I had seen their name around, but I didn't realize that you could just sell them any game you want at any time. Now, they're only going to give you like 20% of what it's worth, but it was kind of like no questions asked. Here's the spreadsheet. Fill it out. All the things you want to sell. We'll send you pre-printed FedEx labels to send the games to us, and then you get store credit. Fine with me. Like, I never tried to get top dollar for these things. It was lower than maybe I would normally try to get, maybe in the 50% range, but the no hassle and being able to just offload a lot. So I offloaded just recently to Noble Knights probably 20 games. And I'm just going to mention some of the highlights. And then what I'm going to show you is the games that I ended up using the credit, or some of the credit, towards that are now entering my collection, and what I'm excited about getting to the table not too long from now. And I'll tell you why I got those. So, first of all, what are the things that left my collection? I meant to print it out and I didn't. So I'm already failing as a content creator. But that's okay. I know approximately. There were some big ones that left my collection. The biggest and most notable is ISS Vanguard. And that one is probably the biggest disappointment to me that I decided to offload it. Not because I didn't want to offload it. I did. It's a biggest disappointment to me because of how much that game cost and how much we played it 7 sessions maybe. And some of those sessions were 3-4 hours. So we put in hours. And does that mean I got my money's worth out of it? No, because I know what I paid for that Kickstarter. I went all in. All in. I got the painted minis. And so it's really disappointing to me that it was as much of a letdown as it was. Not that it's a bad game. It just was mediocre. And for that price, I expected much more than mediocre. So that one sadly left. And did I get back even remotely what I paid for it? Absolutely not. But it was time to go. We were done with it. We knew we were done with it. It was too much of a slog and too long for not enough excitement and engaging gameplay. So ISS Vanguard is now gone. I feel liberated that it's off the shelf because it took up a lot of space. Equally large, no, not equal, close to as large, was Adventure Tactics. That has now left my collection, but for awesome reasons. That game was awesome. And I had the entire thing, the original campaign, all the add-ons, the little mini expansions and stuff, and then the big expansion campaign, which was Alchemy something or other, and the big box, and the minis. And it was a big box, gigantic box, too big actually. But we played through that campaign twice, top to bottom, full campaign. Played once through the original, obviously, and then the second was the expansion. Now, that game is technically highly replayable. We could play a ton of different characters. That's the beauty and the magic of that game system, and it's fun. Deck building, you can create all sorts of crazy characters. If you like Final Fantasy Tactics with the job system and being able to change and bring things forward from previous jobs, that's what this game is all about in a tabletop experience. I do highly recommend the game. It is a little wonky. The rulebook, the way it's written, is a little wonky. There are typos, unfortunate typos. They just could have given it another layer or two of QA and playtesting and refinement. There were just some obvious, glaring, miswritten aspects. But it's such a straightforward game at the end of the day that you hand wave most of that away, or just house rule or whatever and figure it out and just go. It was so fun. It was a great experience. We played through the entire campaign twice. At this point, especially considering the size of my collection and how much stuff changes regularly, I knew we weren't going to play through it a third time. So happy to give that a brand new home. So that one's gone. I got rid of, let's see, what was the name of that stargazing one from Emma Larkins, I believe. Abandon All Artichokes. That was a good game. Starry Night Sky. It was a good game. I have a ton of games in that kind of, that middle, light to middle, simple, straightforward game. It was beautiful, but given how many other games are in that same kind of space that we will gravitate towards when we're looking for a game of that weight, it was not one of the ones that we gravitated towards. So, had a great time with it, played it a bunch of times, ready to offload. I wish I printed out the list. So, I won't waste too much time. I know the Stranger Things Attack of the Mind Flayer, which is a Stranger Things retheme of Growl, which was a hidden loyalty game, by I think John Vigor. Great overall hidden loyalty game, but you all know there's a lot of hidden loyalty games, and I have a lot, and I think others have more staying power than that one. Thunder Road Vendetta, Carnival of Chaos, the expansion. Thunder Road Vendetta is never leaving that shelf over there. Holy cow, it's in my top 5 of all time games. Thunder Road Vendetta is unbelievable. I'm kind of surprised that the expansion did what it did. It took that race style game, really fun, fast, accessible, and it added a hexagonal tactical map. Now, to turn it into this chaos and everyone's swirling around, but it changed the model of the game. Not that it went from a race to an arena. That didn't bother me. But the fact that it went from a really straightforward rule set to a tactical rule set where facing mattered, and you were now planning out your turn and going through all these iterations of exactly which, and then I have to turn and spend a point to do that, and then move, and I don't know if you spent a point, but either way, it turned out to be much more heavy and cerebral and tactical than that game, anyone that pulls that game out expects it to be. Just was not for us. Maybe I think some people are enjoying Carnival of Chaos. Great. Vendetta, Thunder Road Vendetta is a 9.5 for me, or a 10 possibly. I forget what I read. I should probably bump it up to a 10. It is top 5 for me. And Carnival of Chaos was like a 5. I actively do not want to play it. And everyone in my group agreed. So that one, instantly gonzos. I had some shrunk wrap games that I never even opened, but I kept wanting to, but that I got from previous conventions. Crossing Oceans was one. I think the designer's Mac Gertz, and he had come over to my booth at Essen because his son really wanted all the dungeon drop things that we had there. And so he offered to trade, and I said, yeah, what's your latest hotness? He said, Crossing Oceans. And it's this cool thing about ocean liners and kind of adventuring across the oceans, crossing oceans. I like the idea. It's a heavier Euro, and that doesn't tend to be what my group gravitates towards, or me, for that matter. So I kept it on the shelf. I kept wanting to have it hit the front burner. The interest level was never there for me to even crack it open and read the rule book. I would check videos online and rules and other things online, and I just knew this thing was probably never gonna get played. Along those lines, I had a copy of Snowdonia, the deluxe master set. Gorgeous looking. I did open it and I looked through all the stuff, and it's highly rated. By the way, a lot of these games leave in the collection very highly rated. That isn't what I base things on. I base things on how accessible is it for me to teach it? How fitty is it? Fitty is a big deal for me. Are there rules that if I forget, it's going to change that gameplay, and they're just easily forgettable rules? Or the pandemic style of setting up where you have to take the deck, split it into 5 separate decks, shuffle a card into each one, then put them back together without reshuffling. Like, I find that fitty. Now, I've done it with Pandemic a bajillion times, and I played Pandemic Legacy 1 and Pandemic Legacy 2, where it made that problem even worse. The original Castles of Mad King Ludwig with the tiles was you had to shuffle and then remove a certain number. That was fine. Then the expansion got added, and it's like, okay, shuffle the original set of tiles, remove some. Shuffle the new set of tiles, remove some. Shuffle them together, remove some. I find that so annoying, and thank God the newest Castles of Mad King Ludwig, the big deluxe edition, they refined all those setup rules and removed half of those layers. So anyway, fittiness for me is a big deal. I just want something to be elegant, memorable, not having to remember all these obscure edge case rules. It's the edge case rules, I think, that get me. Anyway, I was on Snowdonia. I don't know how I got onto that. Snowdonia looked gorgeous, but I think the rule book for that was like, it was big. It was thick. It was heavy. Clearly, it was not going to happen with my group. So that left. And that's probably enough comments on what left my collection. Like I said, there were probably 15 others, small little side things, expansions. The expansion for Chomp. I love Chomp. It's one of those all-play little small box games about dinosaurs. And then there was an expansion called Flyers and Scavengers. And it just added fittiness. It added complexity. It did not add anything meaningful to the game. Chomp is great. The expansion, didn't need it. A couple other all-play games. Lure I love. Luna? What was the name of that trick-taking game? Gorgeous looking, and basically a card was either a suit or a rank. Interesting premise. But I'm a little weary of trick-taking games. And that one especially, I think, had a certain player count that it kind of demanded, and I just knew that wasn't going to last. I'm pretty picky with my trick-taking games. I am a big fan of certain ones. Setback, Stick-On, The Crew. But that particular one left. And Bacon was another of the small all-play games. What do they call it? A shedding game, right? Well, the Oink one, Scout, is king, absolutely king in that arena of that type of game. And Bacon was just simplistic compared to it. Cool theme, and I was like, Bacon, I gotta have the game Bacon. Well, Bacon turned out to not be so great. All right, I'm going to say that that's enough on what left my collection. Next time around, I'll have the list, or I'll show you the games before they leave. But what was nice was, after that, in my other room, there are the shelves of stuff to leave, and they're nearly empty. What I have now are these oddball things, like a expandable card game, like Warhammer Conquest. I want to get rid of that. I don't quite know how. I don't even know if Noble Knight would take something like that, where it's like, well, I have some of the cards. I have multiple sets of some of the cards. I don't know how they would even figure out how much it's. I'm not going to go through and figure out what sets I bought. Star Trek Red Alert, super old one. It was based on the Disc Wars system. Kind of a cool concept, but I'm never going to play that Disc Wars game again. So I have some of those still on that shelf ready to go out, but by and large, mostly emptied, which is fantastic. It's a fantastic feeling. It's like, okay, I've liberated the space, my mental strain. I now have space on the shelves for new stuff to come in or new stuff to go out at some point. That's going to happen as well. But at the moment, I'm feeling really good with what is on my shelves. I've really optimized. In fact, I was telling my fan base on Discord just recently, what I noticed was an interesting trend. Everything that left, other than something like Adventure Tactics, where it left because we're done, it was fantastic, but we're done. We're not going to play it again. Most of the games that left were rated as a 6.5 or lower. Just by happenstance. I didn't artificially look at just the games that I rated at 6.5 or lower. That's just what as I was looking, I was like, that's interesting. Anything that's a 7 or above, I generally feel like it is hitting the table enough that warrants us keeping it. Right, wrong, or indifferent, that's the threshold that I found. Okay, so what did I pick up? Because I got a lot of credit on Noble Knight for all those games. And I picked up 4 games from Noble Knights. Now, this one I didn't get from Noble Knights. This one I just ordered from Amazon because I saw a review of it. And there's a little bit of a story along with it, but I just picked up this one, Australis. I hope it's written the right way for you all. For looking at the screen, it's backwards, but Australis. The East Australian Current, Turtles, dice placement, dice drafting, something like that. Shrunk wrap still, so I don't know. But why did I get it? Because Turtles. My wife is a turtle rehabber. And I mean, literally one of our rooms in the house is a hospital with IV bags hanging from the ceiling and everything. And so she's loving doing this rehab thing on the side. And so she's all about turtles right now. So that's going to be a fun side thing, or maybe a gift at some point. Okay, but the 4 games entering my collection. First is Catan, Starfarer's Duel. Now, like probably everyone watching, I had a long history with Catan. Settlers of Catan, Starfarers of Catan, Star Trek Catan, and now I have Catan Starfarers Duel. How many of those previous ones do I still own? Just Starfarers of Catan. Settlers of Catan, we played it a ton. It's done. We're done with it. There was nothing left for us to discover. And there were newer games at this point that replaced the need to own Settlers of Catan. So a few years back, I finally got rid of that, along with Cities and Knights and the Seafarers. Star Trek Catan was just a Star Trek themed Settlers of Catan. Nothing different. It had the crew concept, but basically the same thing. So that left. Starfarers of Catan is notably different, and it is awesome. And I have the original, and I have all the pieces intact, not broken. I have the replacement docking rings. So I will treasure that and keep that probably forever. This one is the 2-player card game. This is saying it's 6th edition? Is that what I read on this? Or was that one of the other games? I'm not seeing it now saying 6th edition, but I thought, was it on the rulebook? Well, whatever edition it is one of the newer ones. And I had it on my wish list for a long time. I don't recall. One of my friends thought that it had a memory element. That actually scares me. I hope it doesn't. But that might have been an earlier version. This one is called Catan Starfarers Duel. And there was a previous one that might have been called Starship Catan. A lot of these names are very overlappy. But anyway, this one was on my wish list as a 2-player game that my wife and I presumably would play, get into, enjoy. We will try it out. I had the opportunity to get it using credit, and I'm like, why not? So, great. Got that. Number 2. This one shrunk wrapped. Spider-Geddon. So, for Marvel United. We love Marvel United. Absolutely love it. At this point, I own the original Kickstarter, the X-Men Kickstarter, and most of the Multiverse Kickstarter. I had backed the newest, the DC one. I backed out because I think I got enough. And while I find the idea interesting to team up some DC superheroes with Marvel or have the Marvel superheroes beat up a DC villain, I like the idea of it. I'm wondering if that would at some point very quickly stop being cute and then being like, why did I spend hundreds of dollars on this? So I ended up backing out of DC, but I have almost all the Marvel stuff. Now, somehow I don't think I backed the latest one. I know what I did. I didn't back it on time, and so I ended up getting from Game Savior or Game Sleuth, whatever the one is that does the Kickstarter things afterwards. That's how I ended up getting the Multiverse, was through them. And so it wasn't a complete all-in Kickstarter. And therefore, I got many of the boxes. I did not get Spider-Geddon, and that's one of the main ones. Oh, I don't even think it came with the Kickstarter. I think it was an after thing. Whatever the case, I didn't get Spider-Geddon. So now I got that, and that has like another 8 or 6 characters, 4 villains, 8 characters with the purples. And that really rounds out. Now there's some Kickstarter exclusives that I still don't have from that one, but that's fine. But I like the idea of filling out the collection, and partially why, because I'm going to show you, this is how far I went with Marvel United and organizing it. This is one of 3 boxes of the same size. Those are all of the heroes separated by dividers with all their cards and equipment. Look at the quantity of that. And that's from those 3 main sets. And like I said, this is one of 3 boxes. Then one of the boxes is for all the villains. The third box is for some general tokens, the location cards, mission cards, campaign cards, things like that. And then I have 2 more boxes that have all the minis sorted alphabetically into bins. So I just have an A bin and a B bin. Clearly, love Marvel United. We play it a lot. We love just picking heroes, picking a villain, going crazy. And we'll every time we beat a villain, we put its dashboard into a Ziploc bag that says the defeated pile. So then we know every time we play it again, we're going to play someone new. And now I'm starting to keep little stickers on the dividers that I had in there that I showed you. I have little check mark and X stickers. So if we win or lose with a hero, we'll mark it with the right sticker. So then we can see over time which heroes have been successful, which ones have died, whatever. So Spider-Geddon, when I printed out all those dividers, which was one of the files on Board Game Geek, I realized I had all these extras from that one set that I missed the Kickstarter. And it kind of bugged me. I was looking, I'm like, that's a lot of dividers that I'm missing, a lot of characters and villains, whatever, that I'm missing. And what I realized is half of them or more were actually in this one box, Spider-Geddon. So I wanted to fill that out. Now I feel like I at least have almost everything minus the Kickstarter exclusives. I'm kind of okay with that. Next up is Reef from Emerson Matsuchi. A lovely little, I guess, abstract, but it's got a theme, really rich theme of building coral reefs. It's really pretty. You're stacking 3D pieces, and I'm a big fan of 3D. If you know anything from our line of games, we like things that involve space above the table, dropping things. Ether Spire is the new one, 3D strategy. I love 3D. Reef was one that I played at my good friend in Manchester, the board game librarian. She's on Board Game Breakfast with the Dice Tower. And there was a game day there, and played. In fact, I think Emerson was there. And so played this, loved it, and I just never had a chance to grab a copy. So this is second edition, which I don't know what one I played, but excited to have finally grabbed a copy and added that to my collection. And probably the one that I'm most excited about from this set of four, is that true? 1, 2, yes, this is the one I'm most excited about, is Tech Tree, the board game, also known as Beyond the Sun. It's affectionately referred to as Tech Trees, the board game, because it's a science fiction themed game, obviously, and I'm not gonna butcher trying to explain the story of it. I assume building your culture, your race, your environment, but the board, there's two boards. One, which is kind of the moving around and exploring, is actually the smaller board. The main board, the big board, is a gigantic tech tree. Literally the forking lines, like from an MMO or something, where you're unlocking this tech, which then opens up these two, and now you choose one of those, and then it opens up that one, and maybe I want to go horizontal, maybe I want to go deep. It's all about tech and unlocking tech, and I love that. I love that in certain video games, and I figured this one, people rave about it online. Certainly the Dice Tower crew, they all love it, and I respect their opinion on most things. So that is going to be something I look to get to the table fairly soon. Okay, and Australis as well. That is probably it for this coming and going. It's kind of what I'm referring to this type of episode as. So this being the inaugural The Gamer Side of Jason from Phase Shift Games. I enjoy doing this, and we'll see how many of you enjoy it. So other ideas for the series in this Gamer Side that I have are general makeup of my collection. I might video me explaining how I organize some of my racks. I have a 2-player section, then the small games over here, and then over there the big ones, usually organized just by box size. But I'll kind of go through my collection and give some indication as to why certain games are in the collection. And there's some hidden gems in there too, right? Some out of print games that I'm really proud that are still on our shelf, and kind of talk about why. What is it that keeps them in my collection? What is it that hasn't been replaced by another game or whatever? So I'll generally go through my collection makeup, how I organize it, and my approximate ratings. I don't know if I'll remember my exact ratings for everything, but I can pretty much tell you the approximations. Third idea is just what we're playing. Like I said, we play every single week. Every Saturday is game day here. My wife joins. We have friends. There's one who almost every week is here with us, Mike. And then we have a number of others who will join maybe every other week or so. One of the collection, when we have the right permutation, it's our like Clank Legacy crew. We've already done Clank Legacy 1. Now we're doing Clank Legacy 2. And then a different set of different permutation of the group. We have more of these kind of games like Marvel United and Australis, like that kind of middle tier game where we just play a few different ones each day. I'll sometimes force them to play prototypes. I've got a sitting right behind the camera here is a prototype I've been working on recently, which I'm very excited about. Happens to be another pirate game. May or may not be related to a previous pirate game that I've worked on. It just tends to be where I gravitate for some reason is pirate games. So I might force them to do that tomorrow. We'll see. So anyway, I think it'd be interesting to somehow capture I'm not going to video us playing, but what we played, why we played it, what we thought of it, maybe some like moments that mattered from the games, and I think that might be fun. We'll see how that works. Then another series would be crowdfunding craze. I'm a backer, like many of you. I have 25 outstanding Kickstarters at this point. So what am I waiting on? What am I looking forward to backing? What's on my shelf of shame, which is that one over there. Actually, it's shelves of shame at this point. And what's keeping me from getting them to the table, which ones am I most excited about? I think that might be fun and interesting. So a crowdfunding craze. I can go through my wish list. I have probably a list of 30 or 40 games that I've tracked over the years that like are still on the list. One that I just got recently. It's over there. Star Trek Fleet Captains. Where did I get that from? Facebook Marketplace, I think. I was gonna get it from Noble Knight, but then I found a better deal on Facebook Marketplace for a brand new copy. That's an older one. WizKids, right? Yeah, WizKids. I'm stoked about that. I am a Star Trek geek. My wife is a Star Trek geek. So Star Trek Fleet Captains. I looked into all the newer ones, Ascendancy, Captain's Chair, like all the newer ones. This is the one I think that's going to give us the episodic adventure feel that we want from a game that's Star Trek themed. So anyway, that one's finally off my wish list, but I do still have a healthy wish list that I could go through. And I will try at all times to connect back to my role as a publisher. There's reasons that I gravitate towards certain games, that I keep certain games in my collection, that we play certain games every Saturday, and that absolutely dovetails into some of my sensibilities or my design ideas or what games I choose to publish or how I choose to publish them, what things we emphasize on as I work and develop with the designers that we sign. I will try to tie all these things in, and hence the notion of this entire series as the gamer side of the publisher. And let me know what you think. If this sounds like an exciting series, if you've watched this to this point and you're hearing me ask these questions, then thank you. And certainly let me know in the comments. I would be stupid if I didn't say like, subscribe, and all those awesome things. Let me know in the comments what part of this you seem most interested in. The list of ideas that I just rattled off, are some of those more interesting than others? Are some that you would not be interested in? And if I see enough of that, I won't waste my time. But I just want to have fun. I can hit record. I have a nice backdrop. I have a lot to say. So maybe some people like hearing me talk. Let me know. And on behalf of Mr. Whiskers and Plushy Thulu, thank you. Have a good night. Bye.